HarperCollins presents The Classroom by A. L. Bird, read by Isabella Inchbald. To my parents, in recognition. To my two little miracles, in joy. Part 1. Prologue. She puts the letter to one side. Today isn't about that. Not in this moment. Today is about Harriet. Her and Harriet making a fresh start together. Away from all this nonsense. If the letter shows anything, it's that they need to make that fresh start even further away. There'll be people looking for them. And Harriet is so pretty, people will notice them. England is too small. She needs to go abroad. They need to get tickets to France, or ideally somewhere outside Europe that doesn't need a visa. Somewhere not hugely swamped with international newspapers. She gets out her phone, begins Googling destinations. That's stupid, though. She should just take Harriet to the airport, see what flights they can get, and go. Resolved, she gets to her feet. Thank God for Harriet being well looked after this morning, while the fresh crisis was breaking. She can imagine her now, playing happily on the grass. Soon Harriet will be playing happily in another country, doting eyes on her. They'll be happy together. Of course they will. At first glance, she doesn't notice when she gets outside. The absence. She looks around another time. It's then she realizes. Harriet isn't there. Just the woman who was supposed to be looking after her, sitting all alone. Chapter 1. Kirsten, 4th September 2018. I just wasn't sure about the head teacher at the new joiners' evening, you know? Kirsten says to her husband as she gazes at little Harriet. She bites her lip as she resists the urge to hug her daughter another time before getting her into the car. Harriet looks so smart and grown up in her new uniform, but Kirsten doesn't want to deliver her to the destination. First day of reception. Ian lays a hand on Kirsten's shoulder. The head teacher was just fine, darling. You know that. You got on like a house on fire. There's a wryness to his delivery. Probably born of being a headmaster himself. He knows the conversations that go on. And what about the other kids? They say that the most important thing is the cohort your child's in. What if they're mean? Ian shrugs. There's bound to be one mean kid there. Maybe it will be Harriet. Kirsten shoots him a poison dart with her eyes. Joking, he tells her. Harriet's no bully. But they're 5, Kirsten. No one's going to be selling drugs or making them down alcohol. Kirsten looks at him more carefully this time. It's an oddly chosen example, considering. She sees Ian notice her look. Whatever, he says. What I mean is, she'll be fine. You need to get her in the car or we'll both be late, okay? You've been taking her to nursery for 3 years. School's no different, really. She should be so lucky going somewhere like that. We can catch up this evening. Kirsten nods, but she doesn't agree. He doesn't get it. Or maybe he does. He gets what's on the surface. The anxiety that she's actually expressed, but there's the deeper anxiety, the one she never shares. The one she never knows whether dads truly face too, or if it's just the mums, the worried mums. The need that can suddenly seize you to know exactly where your child is at all times. The sudden rush of panic that they could be with anyone, with any number of terrible things befalling them. And that even if they were meant to be in safe hands, with relatives at school, it would always ultimately be your fault for making the choice that day, that hour, to outsource their care, to not be looking after them yourself. The guilt, Kirsten knew, would always linger, and it worked the other way too. If she was indulgent enough to take a day off work, that particular day would be the one when their route to the fun activity was favoured by terrorists, or a gas explosion, or a sinkhole.
Can I go to school now, Mummy?
Harriet asks. Kirsten tries to shut her anxiety down. She'd made such a thing of school being grown up and very important that Harriet can't be blamed for wanting to get there sooner. But it's still too soon. Only a moment ago, Harriet was a newborn. Kirsten still remembers looking at those amazing owl-like eyes, wide and unblinking, as Harriet sat in the back of the car on the journey home with Ian. Their little miracle. He'd been a bit cold, nervy with the weight of responsibility, but she'd been transfixed. If she'd known, really known, how enchanting a newborn could be, it would have got her through the discomfort of all the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?